In 3 simple steps, you can start budgeting like a minimalist, even if you're not a minimalist, to accomplish your financial goals. See, creating a budget for your entire life, it's way too much. It's madness. So, your first step is to set one clear goal. Whether that is to have an emergency fund, to pay off a specific debt, or to save for a particular item that you would like to buy in the near future. Why is this important? Budgeting for somebody's entire life can be overwhelming. There's so many moving parts, so many variables, so many little things that add to the complexities of an individual's life. So to make this super simple, the best thing that you can do is budget for one thing specifically. And this doesn't mean that you aren't going to budget for your entire life down the line. It doesn't mean that you can't budget for other things. It just means that we're starting off with the one thing. This is going to make it so much easier. The pressure is going to be relieved, and you're going to find that it is so much simpler to do it this way. I'm sure that some of you are probably thinking right now, well, I don't know which one to start off with, or I don't know what to focus with. I get it. Prioritizing can be difficult, especially if you have a lot of ideas and a lot of dreams. One thing that I find comforting for this is knowing that just because you choose one thing doesn't mean that that's the only thing. So again, picking the thing that you are going to focus on doesn't mean that you aren't going to be able to budget for the rest of the other areas of your life or that you want to budget. It doesn't mean that you aren't going to get to budget those other things. You can get to them later, but you have to just choose one thing to focus on right now. I don't know. I feel like there's comfort in that. Let me know if that makes you feel a little bit better. Number 2. That's not a 2. Number 2, track and trim. Your next step is to track your expenses. You can do this with a spreadsheet, notebooks, there's apps for this. I use Wave. By the way, this is not sponsored. I legitimately use this app called Wave, and I have been using it for a few years now. It helps me to keep track of everything that I spend money on and any money that comes into my accounts. But you don't need an app to do this, okay? Like I said, you can use a spreadsheet, you can use a notebook, you can use a piece of paper. The point is that you need to track all of your expenses. Now, this next thing is very important. Track your expenses for only 1 week. Now hold on, wait a second. Don't freak out now, because you are going to keep tracking your expenses, but this is just to get started. Remember, folks. So track your expenses for 1 week and then start to figure out where you can trim your expenses. Start cutting things out if you can. After you do it for 1 week, then you can do the same thing again. You can repeat this process again. Do another week. Track your expenses. See where you can trim. Then repeat it again. Do another week. Track all of your expenses. See where you can cut some of those charges. Do you see where I'm getting at here? Budgeting isn't just to see where you can spend your money, but it's also a fantastic opportunity to see where you can not spend your money. And you can take a hard look at your finances, because maybe you're spending money in places you didn't even know. This can help you with your budgeting down the line, because you might even have extra cash that you don't know about. So do not skip on this step. By the way, when I first started tracking all of my expenses, I used to do it with spreadsheets. So I really mean it when I say that you don't need an app to get started. I don't want that to be a thing that is bottlenecking you from getting your finances in order, because it can be the most simplest thing. Yes, the apps are super helpful and they can help you down the line to automate certain things. But I don't want it to stop you from starting. The main thing here is that you want to start a habit. You want to start this ritual, this routine. For example, I do my bookkeeping every Friday. It's on my calendar, and using the Wave app, I just log in, I scan my receipts, and I do little bits. And I do this every week. And that really helps me to keep my finances in order. But it all starts with the first step and taking it one step at a time. And then after you realize it, you've been jogging. You've been jogging for miles. But you got to start. This is probably my favorite step of all, which is to automate. I love the set it and forget it systems, but there are rules to this, all right? There's so many ways that you can automate your finances that, again, it can be overwhelming. So we need to gradually step into this automation process. So if this is a process that interests you, but you aren't quite sure where to start, then this is for you. The way to get started with automating your finances is by taking it one setup at a time. So what do I mean by this? For example, if you would like to automate your bill pay and you would also like to automate your savings account, well, let's get started with the bill pay first. Let's look at all of the bills that you need to pay and then see how you can set up your auto payments for each one. Then after you set that up, then you move over to whatever other system or setup you would like to have. So it could be the transferring of money into your savings accounts. Since you've been tracking your expenses because you followed step 2, then you know where your money goes and where you need it to go or where you would like it to go. And so when you get paid, you can immediately have that money automatically get dispersed into these different accounts. So if you have an investment account, if you have a savings account, if you have an emergency fund, if you have an account that's just for spending, then you can automatically set it up so that your paycheck goes to these different accounts and you only ever have to see that account which you need for spending. And these are all just the possibilities. These are things that you can set up to help you with your financial journey. But you do have to take it one step at a time. So I find that it's really helpful when people only do one setup at a time. I don't know about you, but I feel so good about this video. If you agree with me, then please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe because I do make a lot of videos on this channel and it would be a real shame if you missed out on any of them. And just like with anything else that you might do in your life, the routine check-ins are so crucial. Just see where you're at, be honest with yourself, be willing to make adjustments, and it's okay if you can't do this every week or every day. The most important thing is to stay consistent. So make sure that you schedule in these routines, these check-ins in a way that is manageable and sustainable for you. Doing smaller tasks doesn't mean that you're getting less things done. It means that you are staying consistent and forming a habit, which is really great. These simple steps can make significant changes in your life. And the minor adjustments that you're making are helping to lead you to a more simple and minimalist lifestyle. And if you're curious about other ways that you can make some more money that you can play around with and budget with, then check out this video where I talk about stepping out of the low income trap. And as always, I've also put a link in the description and in the comments below for your convenience. Let me know if this video helped you out in some way. For now, I'm gonna go. So I will see you when I see you.